You know what? If I knew this recipe earlier in my life when I started my career, or a couple of years after starting my career, I can tell you for sure that I would have created a 10x impact in my work. What is it? Let's talk on the road. See you. So you may be wondering, what is that advice that actually could have created a 10x impact? I'm going to talk about it in a minute right now, right? And before I go there and give you some examples of it, I want to talk about two important terminologies that you all need to understand. One is called the output, one is called the outcome. Output is a list of tasks and initiatives that you do. Outcome is the end result of it. Now, I'll share a story which I'm sure will drive home the point very, very easily. So my friend who's celebrating his wedding anniversary actually books a table at a very popular restaurant that his wife actually likes to go, just to ensure that they really have a great anniversary. And just a day before the anniversary date, the restaurant manager calls up and says, we're really sorry. But unfortunately, we have an operational issue and we're unable to take your booking and we'll have to cancel your booking. Now, my friend was completely heartbroken and shattered, and he was wondering, what the hell is this, right? And he started venting his frustration with the manager. It's a very natural reflex that we all would have, right? Now, the manager started his usual ordeal of talking through his checklist. What is the checklist, sir? We'll refund you. Second, I'll give you a 10% discount on your next lunch or dinner. Third, I'll give you a complimentary buffet on a chosen date of your choice. And those are the list of things that they would do to kind of try and do some recovery. But basically, those are nothing but their outputs or initiatives or tasks that they're trying to do. And what they think is, by doing this, they're trying to kind of win the customer, pacify the customer, give the customer a good experience, which is what we call the outcome. But unfortunately, none of these initiatives that the manager is trying to put in place is going to help. And my friend was definitely very disappointed. I'm going to cut the story out there for a minute. So you got the context right. The manager of the hotel was just going through their SOP, what they've been trained to do, right? Do blah, blah, blah stuff, and the customer should be happy. But actually, they were only going through an SOP and a tick box exercise and nothing more than that. Let me try and flip this entire situation. And I want to give you how I think the manager could have handled. And you tell me whether this is going to make sense or not. So the manager calls a customer a day before and says, I'm really sorry, sir, we have to cancel your booking because of the fact that because of an operational issue, and so we're really sorry about it. And obviously my friend starts venting his frustration and etc. How can you do that and all that stuff. Here is what the manager does differently. Another initiative I'm going to add, because I want to impress the customer and ensure the customer goes back home happy. That's the outcome, right? So the manager says, sir, in addition to this, I have made a reservation for a table in an upmarket restaurant, and this is on us, and we would like you to enjoy your anniversary date in this beautiful restaurant. And my friend, so my friend was very surprised. It's an upmarket restaurant, more expensive. But the fact is, what the manager did was, he knew he was going to shell a little more extra from his hotel's pocket, which is okay with him. But the desired outcome that he was trying to look for is a happy customer. Take a pause, guys and girls. If the manager were to do exactly what I just said, offering a table in an upmarket restaurant, you would be delighted. You would become a loyal customer of this hotel, which has helped you get an alternate table in a better restaurant. So did you see the initiatives, 10% discount, blah, blah stuff, etc. is a task list that you're completing. But the outcome, what you're trying to look at, is to ensure the customer goes happy. Now, if I were to actually start with the end in mind, or I begin with the end in mind, the outcome is to make the customer happy. I would tweak my initiatives in such a way, or tasks in such a way, that the outcome that I'm looking for is achieved. I'm not too sure if it's making sense, but I'm hoping I'm able to drive home the point. Now, I'm going to give you another example, which is closer to all of us in our day-to-day activities and business and work, or whatever you want to call it. A company called ABC sets out this broad, bold object to fuel the top of the funnel growth, which means we need to generate more revenue for the bank. Okay. Now, what list of activities they've got? I'm going to list only one activity, and they call this activity as the key result area. Okay. Now, the key result area is to get or to increase the top of the funnel growth. We're going to be spending advertisements worth rupees 2 crores. Okay. Clear? Now, the fact is, everybody has started measuring whether we are able to spend the 2 crores on advertising a product. And the day they achieve 100% of the spends on 2 crores, they are delighted. The marketing team is now a hero, saying, wow, what a job, man. You guys have done brilliant. But the irony in this thing is that has anybody tried to measure if that 2 crores spend on advertisements is actually yielding and increasing the revenue for the organization? If it is not, then what is the point in running that particular initiative? And a lot of people get confused that this particular activity of running your 2 crores advertisement is your outcome, but actually it is not. KRA is supposed to be an outcome. You cannot have outputs listed in a KRA. Now let me twist the story a bit. So the objective remains the same, to fuel the top of the funnel growth, which basically means to get more revenue. But this time, my KRA basically is to generate 1,000 leads every month. I'm going to list the tasks or the outputs under this outcome of 1,000 leads. So the output that I'm going to mention here is to advertise in all mediums, and the spend should not be more than 2 crores. That's an initiative. That's an activity, guys. That's an output. But the outcome is to generate 1,000 leads. Now, you got to measure your initiatives. So when you start measuring initiatives, saying that, okay, let me measure whether I'm spending 2 crores. Yes, I'm spending 2 crores. But is that increasing my 1,000 leads every month? If I'm not getting the 1,000 leads, which is my outcome, I need to change or add or tweak my outputs or initiatives. The next initiative I probably will do is to call 2,000 customers every month or 2,000 prospects every month. Now, that's an initiative. Okay? And convert at least 50% of them into customers. Now, that's an initiative. And when you're running your advertisements, you're also doing cold calling or warm calling, whatever you want to call it. You're doing that. Now, you've got to measure whether you're generating 1,000 leads or not as a result of these 2 initiatives. If you're still not happy with the outcome, which is 1,000 leads per month, then you will have to add more initiatives, more tasks, more outputs to your list, whatever you may want to call it. But the idea that I'm trying to give you all here is you got to define your outcome clearly, and you've got to define your outputs that will help you achieve that outcome. It might sound a little complicated, guys and girls, but I think, or I'm hoping I'm able to drive this point that, look, always begin with the end in mind. What is that you want to achieve? We send day in and day out hundreds of emails. That's output. But the engagement and the response that we are looking forward from those emails is outcome. I add a new product feature. That's just an output. The customer satisfaction is the outcome from that feature that I've added. Calling 100 prospects is the output. Converting 10% of them into customers, actual customers, is outcome. So can you see the difference between output and outcome? Yeah, very clear. So Stephen Covey said in his book, start with the end in your mind. What a powerful way to kind of look at things. Okay, now I'm going to kind of bring another example closer to home, motorcycle riding. Okay. Now, my end objective is to be a good rider, a safe rider. That's my objective. Now, my key result area that I'm going to be looking at is to ride 500 kilometers non-stop. Okay, that's my outcome. What is the output or the initiatives or the tasks that I'm going to do to kind of accomplish my outcome? First, I will start riding 50 kilometers every day so that I get used to the riding of the bike. Second, I will ride my bike on different surfaces, maybe gravel, a bit of sand, tarmac, broken patches of road in those 50 kilometers that I'm riding every day. Third, I'll try and ride in different conditions if possible. Maybe I ride early morning when it is a bit cooler. I ride through the afternoon when it's hot. I'll also ride in the night. I will then also learn how to repair a puncture. How can I do some small little repairs if required for motorcycle, the necessary or mandatory maintenances while I'm riding. I'm going to practice. My bike is a massive bike. The BMW 1250 GSA probably weighs close to about 250. And if this falls, man, this is an elephant to pick up. So I've got to practice how I'm going to pick that up. Yeah, fact of the matter is all these initiatives is a tick box for me. I am going to tick all of them and say, have I done this? Have I done that? Have I done this? Once I have done all of them, let's say for a period of a month or so, because of those initiatives and tasks or outputs that I have kind of undertaken, the outcome for me is to ride 500 kilometers non-stop is going to be absolutely a walk in the park. I started with the end in the mind. The end in the mind was to ride 500 kilometers. The output leading to outcome, and eventually from that outcome, the objective of me being a better rider eventually emerges. So today, the lesson or the advice I'm sharing from all the experience I've had in my career is you got to understand the difference between output and outcome. And if you're able to begin with the end in your mind, you are going to succeed no matter whether it's a personal situation or it's a professional situation. Before I end today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you saw my earlier video, which is basically is if you don't ask, the answer is always a no. So today, I really want to ask you all to please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and the bell icon, and do drop in some comments. Let's have some quality conversations on things, right? On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to bring this vlog to an end today. Have a great day ahead. Take good care of yourselves, and if possible, a few others. On that note, take care. Bye for now.